Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Adopt Lean Manufacturing into Your Fab Shop. Thank you for spending some time with us today. This webinar is brought to you by Evolve MEP. My name is Rachel Grillo, and I am a Product Marketing Coordinator for Evolve, and I will be your moderator today. So before we get started, I'll go through some webinar housekeeping. We encourage you to take advantage of the fully customizable webinar console by clicking on the icons at the bottom of your screen. And you can resize any of this any of these widgets during the presentation. Don't forget to type your questions and comments into the Q&A widget throughout the presentation as well. We will take time to answer your questions throughout the webinar and also at the end. So please take a moment to introduce yourself. And you can also take the survey at any time during or after the webinar. And then one last thing, this webinar is being recorded for your convenience, so you will receive an email with the recording link for future reference. And you can find Evolve MEP on social media to make meaningful connections, receive special offers, and stay up to date on the newest innovations. Also, be sure to visit our website, evolvemep.com, to see how we help improve profitability and visibility for trade contractors by aligning teams on a single platform. Now, I am pleased to introduce today's presenter, Brad Lakomy. Brad is a regional sales manager at Evolve MEP with 17 years of experience in the industry. We are very proud to have him with us. Thank you for joining us today, Brad. Take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Rachel. Let me get my screen up here. All right. All right, welcome to our Evolve MEP presentation today. My name is Brad. Thank you very much, Rachel, for the introduction. Oops. So today we're going to talk about adopting lean manufacturing into your fab shop. And what we're really here to do is talk about reducing waste, maximizing productivity, and changing culture. And actually, Rachel, I think we have our first poll question.
Yes, we do. Let's go to it. So you guys, on the right-hand side of your screen, you should see our little poll question. Have you or are you currently trying to implement lean manufacturing into your shop? So if you guys want to take a minute and answer that question for us, it'll help us customize our presentation for you.
All right, and as everybody's putting in their answers to that question, just a little bit of background. I actually don't come from the MEP industry. I was a CAD designer. Started out as a CAD designer in a mechanical, actually product design. So I'm a CADaholic who happened to move into sales as a profession. Rachel, do we have results here?
Yeah, we've got results. They're coming in. Do we want to give them a little bit more time, or you want to just see what we got?
Let's give it just an extra second here. I can talk for a little bit. So anyway, I'm proud to join the Evolve team recently and bring my manufacturing experience to the sales team. A little bit different world coming from product manufacturing, but one of the things that we kind of found were good synergies was my background. Everywhere that I've worked, we've implemented lean manufacturing strategies. So having a salesperson who can talk fluently in lean can hopefully be beneficial. How are we doing, Rachel?
I think we're good.
All right.
You ready?
Sure.
All right. Drum roll, please. Ooh, 83. Very nice.
All right. Good deal. All right. Well, then we'll get going here. So the three things, obviously, we want to cover here is reducing waste, maximizing productivity, and changing company culture. So briefly, just, it looks like a lot of you have some lean manufacturing background. So we're just going to breeze through this part. I won't bore everybody with the history too much. Lean manufacturing has been around since the beginning of, humans trying to figure out how to make tools to make lives better. Obviously, the Industrial Revolution certainly helped embolden the world and in particular America in creating some manufacturing efficiencies that nobody had seen before. And that brought us to the late 1800s, early 1900s, where Henry Ford obviously had a massive impact on essentially building lean manufacturing tools. I mean, these were the building blocks for what manufacturers would implement, over the decades and century. And then, we can't talk about lean manufacturing without talking about Toyota, the work that they did post World War II to change manufacturing, to really evolve manufacturing into, lean principles. That was the Toyota way. That was the Toyota production system. And that kind of brings us to today. Lean manufacturing is, all this stuff on the screen here, 5S, just in time, Kanban, root cause, value stream mapping. None of these things are lean manufacturing, but all of these are tools that you would use in lean manufacturing. And I'm sure, the 80 some odd percent that said they've tried implementing this stuff have seen some of these tools in use. So the first thing we're going to tackle here is reducing waste. So waste can be time, it can be materials, and it certainly always comes down to the almighty money. So one thing you want to break away from is creating good processes, implementing good standard operating procedures, and building the culture where you get rid of as much waste as you possibly can. So, one of the things, it's all about business processes, like I talked about in the last slide, standard operating procedures, breaking down the walls, legacy knowledge or tribal knowledge, however you want to term it, really breaking those things out and making good processes so that you can be successful. And this is just, I thought this was a really interesting process map here. It's all about mapping out how you're doing everything, how your purchasing department's working, how sales takes a PO. These things are enormously complex. They don't seem like it in our day-to-day, but they're enormously complex processes, and it's all about mapping these processes out to figure out what where your inefficiencies are. Inventory. This is one of the bigger wastes that you're going to find in pretty much every company. So, you have purchasing managers, and I mean no offense to the people that work so hard and they have tough jobs, who might try to purchase ahead. You get too much inventory stored in your shop. That's money, and if it's not being turned very quickly, you're just not really going to have a very highly functioning business that's going to return a good profit and, in turn, lift everybody up at the company. So it's just one of those things to kind of be concerned about. Another thing about process control, anybody see anything wrong with this? We don't have a poll question for this one, so you can just answer it out loud to your computer. There's no tags on this, or hardly any tags. You see a few little beige tags here. I borrowed this from one of our coworkers' presentations from a few weeks ago. But this is actually the correct way to have stuff labeled in your shop, is to have your job numbers, have customer names, have quantities. Are they part of a batch? Maybe you might want to have when they were received, and then you see the C3-1, the yellow tags, to have it all properly inventoried and managed in your MRP systems or ERP systems, however you're going about your daily business. But make sure that everything is categorized the way that it needs to be in order for you to be successful. And another advantage of reducing that waste in inventory is you actually manage to boost your inventory turns. And in the manufacturing world, if you're getting a turn a month, you're doing pretty good. If you're in heavy manufacturing, if you're just making widgets and gadgets, your inventory turns might be a little bit faster, a little bit slower, depending on how things are going. But that inventory, once again, and I know we already said this, when it's sitting on your shelf, that's money that can't be used elsewhere for improvement, to the shop, or paying your employees a little bit better, or even figuring out where your inefficiencies are and driving some cost out of the business. And another part of reducing waste is continuous improvement. This is one of the pillars of lean manufacturing, is continually improving, having people that know how to run, having a CI manager at your facility, or somebody that knows how to run continuous improvement programs, can just pay off like crazy down the road. And all these things build on themselves, and they become part of the company culture that we'll get to in a little bit here. And with efficiency, well, reducing waste, you're going to increase the efficiency, you're going to increase the quality of your product, you're going to bring the cost of your product down. So especially when you're getting into prefabrication, if you're trying to implement prefab into your shop, if you can really hammer out a bunch of sections for a building that are similar at the same time, you can reduce your inventory, because when stuff needs to come in, when your supplies are coming in, raw materials are coming in. You can schedule everything, and you can not only do you get those efficiencies, you get better quality product by batching those big processes together. All right, and then the second part, or second pillar of this presentation, is maximizing productivity. So in a shop environment, it's important to have as much of your stuff on the floor on wheels or pallets. Make it mobile, so that when the next job that comes through, you might need to reconfigure your shop a little bit. Obviously, you're not moving press brakes and tube benders around and heavy machinery, but the rest of the shop should be relatively flexible to a certain degree. So having everything on wheels, mobile, or having it on a pallet, so you can take a pallet jack over a forklift and move something, is essential to having a shop that works in lean manufacturing environment. And a little bit about this, I come from a heavy manufacturing company where we manufactured hydraulic cylinders. And you would think when you're doing something so critical application, that you would have everything just locked down in your shop. And the truth of the matter is, our heavy equipment was locked down. The rest of it, our assembly bays, everything could be rearranged and reconfigured for any job that was coming through, because sometimes we would have cylinders that were the size of a school bus, and sometimes the size of a soda can. So you had to be able to reconfigure everything and have dedicated work cells that you could change as needed. And the same thing in a fab shop environment. And then I know we already saw this one, and this is not a glitch here in the matrix. I'm showing this again. It's having part of lean manufacturing, part of maximizing productivity, is having everything clearly labeled. And I know I'm hammering on the same point again, but this is critical to getting everything lean manufacturing implemented in your fab shop environment. All right, and then improving productivity is not a one-step process. It's this goes back to the beginning where I kind of showed all these just in a list. There is no one size fits all. There's no no way to go into company XYZ and say, well, what worked there is going to work for you. You might be in a different part of the country. You might have different supply chains. Even if you're making a similar product, there might be things that in the fab shop environment might be configured differently. So you need to be ready to take in a large amount of the lean manufacturing tools that are out there and customize that to your environment. And one that probably most people are familiar with, 5S. I'm not here to talk about 5S in particular, but this is one of the tools, obviously, that most people have experience with, and this helps to really maximize productivity in a shop environment, and is critical to a lot of manufacturing companies around the world. And then the last part of maximizing productivity, we already talked about this just briefly a few minutes ago. It's ending that legacy knowledge. You have some folks that have a lot of experience, 30 years in the industry or 30 years at a fab shop. There's a lot of knowledge trapped in that person's body that you need to start getting into and documented somehow. And it's not just that person, it's everybody in the shop. If they have things that in particular they are doing that are specific to a product or product line, these things need to be documented. And everybody has a cell phone. Everybody can take a video unless it's a ITAR restricted facility. But you can take video pictures and build a living document that can help make that transition easier when somebody decides to retire or leave the shop environment. All right, and then the last pillar of this presentation is changing culture. Excuse me. So changing culture is actually probably the most difficult part of the lean manufacturing process. And it's the one that companies usually have the hardest time implementing and getting buy-in. So changing the culture, it requires a bottom to top and a top to bottom integration, or vice versa, however you want to put that. You have to get everybody in the company involved. You have to empower your employees, and you have to get everybody aligned. Otherwise, the lean manufacturing solution probably won't be a very successful implementation. So that's very difficult. That's an incredibly difficult thing to kind of get people to get in on. All right, so lean culture, this is a very simple diagram here. It's continuous improvement and it's respect for people. So that really, it puts it very simply, but that's kind of the point. It's you need to empower your employees, and you need to have respect for them, and they need to have respect for you. Otherwise, the implementing lean manufacturing tools will be very, very difficult. Lean is, I'm going to borrow this. There was a presentation earlier today that we had internally in the company, and somebody said something I thought was pretty interesting. So I'm borrowing a little bit of a term here. Lean manufacturing is a journey, not a destination. So it's a pretty simple statement, but the impact is very large. It is going to require people who are willing to research. It's going to require training. It's going to require outside training. It might require somebody consulting to help launch this process. You need to really dive in with your whole body. You can't just kind of lean into this thing. It has to be full on. And then pretty much for the last part of culture here, I know we already brought up Toyota, but that reading the Toyota Way it's a fascinating read. It's a good place to start if you're on a lean manufacturing journey. But the interesting thing is, at the end of the day, last year Toyota was a $236 billion company. And in any manufacturing plant, and I didn't look up how many they have, but they have many across the entire planet. If one person finds something wrong, they hit the stop button and the whole production line shuts down. They do a root cause analyses and figure out how to fix the problem, where the problem originated from, and then put work procedures in place to take care of, make sure that the end user isn't getting a car that falls apart. It's pretty important, obviously. So it's this is just to hammer home the point. Culture is the pinnacle of implementing lean manufacturing tools. Rachel, we have another poll question. I think
we do.
Not done here.
Ooh. All right. So the next poll question is: what has been the most challenging part of implementing lean manufacturing so far? I'll give you guys a little bit of time to answer that one.
Yeah, great. And I'm going to keep on talking here. And Rachel, whenever you want to read the results of that, you break in whenever you want to. So we're wrapping up here for the most part. I don't see any questions. Do you have anything in there, Rachel, that I missed? I don't think so.
I do not have any questions in my inbox just yet.
All right, we only have a few more slides left, I promise. You can see that down in the lower left corner. So I'm just going to keep on going until Rachel tells me to stop talking. So reduce waste, maximize productivity, and changing culture. And I bet everybody's wondering, When's this guy going to tell us what Evolve MEP can do for us? Well, that's right now. So obviously, Evolve MEP, we are a software solution provider, and we have a few different flavors of solutions that we can offer. For the electrical contractors out there, we have Evolve Electrical. That can help with your conduit run schedule, smart bends. There's some really, really good work done with Revit families. So when we're talking about reducing waste, maximizing productivity, our software tools can definitely help you reduce a lot of headaches for your design crew, and it can also give you what you see is what you get. So you're doing all your design in 3D. So there should be in theory, when you print out a bill of material, you should be reducing a lot of waste in actually building that project out.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah,
I think we're ready. Yeah, are you ready?
Right.
Okay.
Do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
Time
all right. That's I was really thinking getting started was going to be the big one, but okay. Thank you. That's excellent. We have one more question coming up here shortly. So we only have a couple slides left. So I swear we'll let you go here shortly. Thank you,
Last
Rachel.
question. Sure. Do you need assistance designing a lean manufacturing environment?
All right. So go ahead and think through that answer. I'm going to continue on. So we have Evolve MEP Mechanical, which is obviously for our friends in the mechanical contracting realm. Very similar tool in that it gives you some great 3D design tools that will help you reduce some inefficiencies in Revit, but also gives you access to some good families to use in all your projects, common families, and then also bill of material tools on the back end of this will help reduce on communication issues. And then finally, not the last one, but the last piece of software here is our materials platform. Now, our materials platform is an end-to-end material tracking system. So this actually, you can just use this with any bill of materials CSV or an Excel file, and essentially run all of the material purchasing for a project on a project-by-project basis. This piece of software is an amazing tool, and it's one we're really proud of, and we're excited to show people. And then last but not least, we actually have, if you need help, so the question that Rachel just asked, do you need assistance designing a lean manufacturing environment? We actually have people on staff that can help you. So we actually have a special projects department that can step in and help you on your lean manufacturing transition journey. And we actually have some really good stories out there. We just had a webinar last month that kind of talked through with one of our current projects in Atlanta. So we have some really good experience and some great people on our staff that have grew up in fab shops, helped start a few fab shops, and we can help you. So this question is near and dear to our heart. So do we have results, Rachel?
We do. Lots of very competent people on this call. I'm very impressed.
Cool. All right. Well, that's good. We have a crew that knows what they're doing. Well, if you ever run into an issue, don't forget about your friends here at Evolve, and you can certainly reach out anytime you want. And we're here to help. We're all on LinkedIn. You can obviously go to our website. We have a great YouTube channel, so look us up on YouTube. And I'm going to stop talking here and hand it off to Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we do have a question. Brian asked, how does this info get to the shop floor? Paper, software, etc.?
Depends. In manufacturing environments, a lot of the information, especially the drawing data, is starting to be more and more digital. And I hope we're starting to see that in fab shops as well. But also out in the field, you look at, especially some of the tools like our materials tool, you could use that on a tablet. or a laptop in the field, so your foreman could actually be on the same platform that your purchasing department and your receiving department and shipping departments are all on. So it really depends on how willing the companies are to jump in. Like I was saying earlier with the jumping in with your whole body. If you're going to do it, especially in 2022 heading into 2023. Your better bet is going electronic, but you could still do paper. Hope that answers your question, Brian. All right, I don't see any other questions, so
All right.
it's all yours, Rachel. Thank you.
So before we go, I would really love for everybody to take a look at the top right of your screen. We have a couple Midwest events coming up. So if you're in the area, we would really love to see you guys out there. If you're in the Wisconsin or Illinois, come out, have some fun with Brad and the Evolve team. We're going to have a good time. And I really appreciate you guys spending your time with us, and we trust that it was meaningful and impactful for you and your business. Again, if you guys have any questions revolving around lean manufacturing, we are here to help. Feel free to reach out to Brad or us at the marketing team. We can point you in the right direction at the very least. So thank you so much for joining us again, and we look forward to seeing you on a future Evolve webinar. Have a great rest of your day.